Hey, greetings, everybody. If you're watching this, it can only mean that you have enrolled in an online history course at the University of Texas at Dallas. My name is Dr. Ryan Pettengill, and it is my privilege to serve as your instructor for this semester. What I'm going to be doing here today is going through the guidelines, expectations, and requirements for the semester. In other words, the syllabus. So, if you haven't had a chance to check that out, what I want you to do, even if it means push and pause, okay, put me on pause and then go into Blackboard, click on our class, and then what I want you to do is right underneath the course homepage, click that button in all caps called Start Here. Okay, click Start Here. You will see near the top there's a link to download a copy of the syllabus. Download that thing, meet me back here. So, you have it in front of you. What we're going to be going through, maybe not line by line, but we're going to be going through the syllabus here in the next few minutes. In a class like ours, communication is going to be really, really important, and the best way to get a hold of me is through email. You're looking at that email address near the top of the syllabus there, and if you get me a message Monday through Thursday before 3 p.m., there's a very good chance that I respond on the same day. If it is after 3 or if it's on the weekend, it's going to be a little bit slower, but I take an awful lot of pride in getting back to people in an effective way. So that is probably the best way to get a hold of me. I also realize that every once in a while it makes a lot more sense to have a direct conversation, and if that's the case, let me know and I will send you a Zoom invitation. We can have that direct conversation and we can have we can get those issues worked out. So as you can see, there's a lot of different ways to communicate with me. It's up to you to take those avenues though. All right. History 1301 is the first half of the American History Survey. I can't really be super precise in terms of where we're going to start out. I like to think of this time period, the pre-1492 time period, is the period in American history before Europeans started showing up. Okay? Of course, what I'm getting at here are pre-Columbian Native American societies. Now, as far as our ending point, I can be a lot more precise as far as where we'll end up. And of course, that's going to be 1877. That year might not mean a lot to you right now, but I promise by the time that our class ends, you're going to see why it's such an important, consequential year. We're going to talk about all the usual suspects, everything that everybody always discusses, great generals like George Washington, great presidents like Abraham Lincoln, but we're also going to talk about some people that don't always make their way into the textbooks, into the lectures, people like the famous abolitionist Frederick Douglass, people like Anne Hutchinson, who develops this notion in colonial New England that all souls are created equal. You think about American society, our political culture, the notion of equality is kind of important. And people like Anne Hutchinson, Frederick Douglass, they don't get nearly enough credit for that in many history classes. So I hope that makes for a much more enjoyable approach to this class. In terms of the resources that you need for this class, I hope that this is going to be really good news, right? There's not a book that you need to run out there and grab. You don't need to go scour the internet looking for some obscure title. Better yet, everything that you do need has already been preloaded for you right there in Blackboard. Underneath the course syllabus, you're going to see course resources, and that's going to take you to a link called the American Yop. And what the Yop is, it's a collection of primary documents, first-hand eyewitness accounts of events or processes or what have you. And these primary documents are what historians use to write history. For you, it's going to be what you use to complete your weekly assignments. So you don't need to go out there and buy a textbook. There's no, title that I'm going to need you to take a road trip to find. Everything that you need to complete any assignment that we're going to go throughout the course of the semester has already been preloaded there for you. So I hope that you find that helpful. If you continue to scroll down in the syllabus past the course objectives to the course outline, I can't say this enough. keeping track of the due dates, what you need to do, and when you need to have them done, that's really going to separate those people that do well and those people that struggle. Okay. If you look at the first week of our course outline, as an example, you can see that there are several chapters of the YOP that I need you to familiarize yourself with. No, I don't need you to recite them back to me. It's not law school, but I do need you to have a general sense as to what they have to say. There are also video lectures that I need you to view. If you go into Blackboard and you click on the Lessons button, what you're going to see are several links that all take you to YouTube, where my talking face will take you through a lecture, a time period in American history. Once again, I don't need you to be able to recite them back to me, but I do need you to have a good idea in terms of what's going on. You'll also note that we have a quiz that's due this week, and we also have a discussion forum that is due. And naturally, I'll talk about what those assignments are and how you can go about completing them here in just a second. More than anything else, what I'm trying to get you to understand here is you need to check in on the course outline, the schedule, at least on a weekly basis. Okay, I'll try to give you pointers, and you'll see what I'm talking about when I send out weekly announcements. But it really is up to you to make sure that you know what's ahead of you. Okay. What I'd be asking myself if I were you right now, how do I walk out of this class with the best possible grade? And to be sure here, your goal should be an A. There really isn't any reason that everybody shouldn't walk away with an A if you put the work into it. And the bottom line is, there's a lot of different ways to work smarter, not necessarily harder. Okay? The first thing that you can do to that end is the discussion forums. So each week you're going to be asked to chime in on an open-ended question, and you'll be using a chapter, sometimes more than one chapter, in the American YOP to complete this. I think it's good practice to engage with your classmates, to respond to some of the things that they have to say in both a professional and a courteous manner. I'm hopeful that we can keep this conversation civil, but if we were having this class face-to-face, we would have an ongoing discussion, an ongoing conversation. And because we can't do that, that conversation is moving into our discussion forums. Participating in the weekly discussion forums, those are going to be worth 20 percentage points of your cumulative grade. You're going to see 5 of them. Each of them are worth 4 points. Okay? The next most effective thing that you can do to really maximize your performance are these quizzes. Quizzes is probably a bad way of putting this, considering they're not really pop quizzes. They're not designed to trick you. Really what you're going to see is a primary document. You're going to use that document to break down a central question. You're going to use it to answer a central question. You are going to see 6 of these quizzes over the course of the semester, but you're only responsible for 5 of them. What I'm getting at here is quiz 6, for all intents and purposes, is going to be extra credit, and you can earn up to 4 points of extra credit if you choose to complete all 6 quizzes and you do them all well. They're not timed. As long as I don't get a one-to-one verbatim response, you can work on them in groups or collectively. But the thing about these quizzes, just like the discussion forums, once the due date passes, they turn into zeros. So please, please, please keep an eye on those due dates. Now, aside from the quizzes, you've got 1 midterm exam and you've got 1 final exam. Both exams will consist of a combination of multiple choice questions and short written response questions, as well as 1 long answer essay apiece. There will be resources that help you break these things down, and you'll see what I'm talking about in due time. But for the moment, please understand that the class is based on a 100-point scale. The midterm exam is worth 30 points. The final exam is worth 30 points, bringing our grand total to 100 points. If you continue to scroll down, you will see my grading scale. Of course, when and where possible, I generally will round up. If you're sitting at an 89.5, naturally I round that up to a 90. But please understand that close enough is not good enough. Now, this seems pretty straightforward to me, but if you do have individual questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. I am going to leave a lot of the rest of the reading of this syllabus up to you. I need you to familiarize yourself with it when you have an opportunity. But really, more than anything else, what I want you to do is to focus on that drop date. There's a certain date in the semester that you have to drop the class without it appearing as an official grade on your transcripts, and you need to be familiar with that. So, I hope that this has been helpful. I hope that you have a better understanding of what's expected of you. I hope that if you were a little bit nervous coming into the class, that this has helped set your mind at ease at least a little bit. I'm looking forward to getting to know you. I'm very much looking forward to working with you. And if you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. Good luck, everybody.